Hi, I'm Ned Forrester on ESPN. These are my co-hosts, 4'9" and Bob Boberson, and we're going to talk a little bit about football. So our first thing is we like to talk about who is the best running back in the league. I'm thinking David Johnson. Ezekiel Elliott's up there. What do you think, 4'9"?
So I think if you're starting a franchise, I'm definitely going to go with Zeke. I think that, even with the Cowboys offense, he is definitely a good piece you can build around coming out of the draft. We just have to see how he does in his second year. I think best player that is currently playing, I might have to go Adrian Peterson because of how proven he is. You could also say Marshawn Lynch because of the fact he did come back to the NFL. He is playing for the Raiders right now, as the Seahawks did trade him. Because he is coming back. So I think that you could say Lynch or Peterson.
Very interesting. Bob Boberson, would you like to say anything?
I'd go Ezekiel Elliott. He just came off a really strong rookie season, and he's not even in his prime yet. I think he can
But at the same time, can he perform in his second season?
I'd like to point out that Ezekiel Elliott could also have a sophomore slump, and maybe the Cowboys line would fall.
I mean, the thing is, if the Cowboys line, if either they have a lot of injuries, kind of like the Packers did, I think that their running back's going to get attacked really badly, and they don't have the same the offensive line. So I think that if the Cowboys, he could have a really bad second season if the Cowboys line isn't as good as how they were last year. If they have injuries, I don't think Ezekiel Elliott can put up the numbers he did last year.
Well, those are what-if questions. What are the chances that's going to happen?
It happens a lot in football with the fact that the Packers did end up losing their offensive line. They had to put rookies in that didn't know how to play. And that's why, against teams like the Cardinals, Aaron Rodgers really had to put on a performance, throwing a Hail Mary. I think the defense and the offense, they really just, they need to improve, and I don't think Ezekiel Elliott can put up the numbers if what-ifs happen, because they do happen.
Okay, for our next category, I would like to talk about quarterbacks. I think Tom Brady is a great quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is good. Tyrod Taylor, he's a good quarterback and a great basketball player. I've seen him play basketball too. He's amazing at three-pointers.
Excuse me, but Tyrod Taylor is a quarterback. He is not a three-point shooter. Maybe you're mistaking a Ray Allen for Tyrod Taylor. Maybe you're mistaking.
I'm sorry, but I actually have seen Tyrod Taylor play basketball.
He doesn't play basketball.
No one cares, okay?
I think the best quarterback under pressure of all time is definitely Tom Brady. Every single season, he puts in a great performance. It doesn't matter who his receivers are, if it's Julian Edelman or if it's, I don't know, you can name any right receiver, but he just makes everyone on his team better, including running backs, including even the coaching staff. If he does well, everyone's happy, everyone improves their game, and he always is great in late game situations.
And I think the next category we'll talk about. Okay, I'm sorry.
I have to go with Matt Ryan. He led the Falcons to the Super Bowl. You might say Julio Jones has been doing it, although he really hasn't. I think Matt Ryan did a good job spreading it out to 13 different receivers. I think he's a really talented.
The problem with Matt Ryan, it was one season. It was one season that they did really well, and you don't know if he's going to drop off in the next season, even the season before. This year, he really came to life, and with players like Cam Newton, he came to life with the Panthers. However, this year he hasn't performed as well as he did last year. It's just, it depends on the season, how you're feeling it, how your receivers are doing. Julio Jones, he had some amazing catches, especially in the Super Bowl. They put up great performances, their wide receivers.
Speaking of receivers, let's go to our next category.
I think I'm actually going to talk a little bit about receivers in fantasy football. Now we're going to talk about top fantasy picks. I think I don't know, David Johnson, Ezekiel Elliott, and Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, great players. What do you think?
I think if you're going to go a wide receiver, you go Julio Jones. He's the best fantasy pick. He always puts up good numbers every week.
So does
Yeah.
You
Odell
also
Beckham.
have to. Odell
OBJ.
Beckham does, however, he does have some off weeks here and there.
Yeah.
Especially with Eli Manning quarterback, not as good as some other quarterbacks in the league. So I think you want to go with the number one target for some of the top quarterbacks. You know, even you could go Edelman as maybe a lower pick in the
Yeah,
draft.
great catch in the
I-
Super Bowl.
I have to go with I think a good receiver who's really stepped up fantasy last year. Mike Evans.
Very good
Mike Evans was
player.
very good.
Jameis Winston has stepped up his game last year.
Also, the other player I would like to note, the tight end, Austin Severe Jenkins. Very underrated pick.
Yeah.
He actually got released by the Buccaneers, picked up by the Jets. If he plays, sometimes he'll put up 20 points.
Yeah.
But the problem is, he'll play and then he'll get released because the team doesn't like him. But in fantasy, he can be a great pickup or he can slump off. I mean, it really depends when he's playing, but you have to really look at bye weeks. You have to. Fantasy is very
And also
number-wise.
And Ezekiel Elliott could have.
Ezekiel Elliott can put up 50-point games. It all
or
depends.
he could have a sophomore
Ezekiel
slump.
Elliott, yeah, that's the problem with Ezekiel Elliott. But sometimes last season he would be putting up 30 points every game.
Okay.
I think Jeremy. What about Jeremy Maclin? Do you think the Ravens
I don't
made a
think
smart
he'll do
choice?
so.
Jeremy Maclin, he's not.
The Ravens did make a good choice, but I don't think he'll be up there. I'm Sam Abrams from ESPN.